Nancy Drew fans! We're back for book 32, The Scarlet Slipper Mystery. This book begins with Nancy on a plane returning from a weekend trip visiting Aunt Eloise in New York City. The engine has just gone out, but level-headed Nancy assures the panicking passengers that they'll land safely and remembers to politely thank the stewardess once they land. A making fun of Bess moment introduces the main characters. Bess giggled. "I've lost 2 pounds. There's a wonderful new dancing school in town, Nancy. All kinds of classes. I've joined one in reducing. Matter of fact, we just came from there." George sniffed. Yes, Bess takes it off dancing and puts it all back on eating. Nancy soon meets the dance studio owners and siblings, Henry and Helene Fontaine, and she vows to help them when they receive a threatening note telling them they must leave the United States immediately. Nancy quickly likes and trusts the Fontaines, and she wholeheartedly throws herself, her friends, and her family into the mystery. The privileged lifestyles they all share are really obvious in this story. Nancy invites the siblings to stay in the guest rooms on the 3rd floor of the Drew home, and later they're moved to a cabin at Cedar Lake owned by the Nickerson family, the 3rd of their properties that's mentioned in the series. Mrs. Nickerson takes over the management of the dance studio, and Nancy and Bess are there all day teaching all the classes. The dance scenes are a real highlight. Nancy teaches a class of young girls about interpretive dance, and I love her preparation for her solo dance number in the big charity show. She played the record over several times until her choreography had formed a regular pattern. Realizing that her movements betrayed her love for mystery, Nancy suddenly found herself giggling. Her dance had become a graceful chase, portraying the conflict between someone being pursued and the pursuer. "I'll need a lot of practice," Nancy said to herself as she performed the final leap with an intricate turn. This mystery centers on an international jewelry smuggling ring that is somehow connected to political dissidents from a fictional country called Centrovia. There are a ton of characters, and Nancy's not sure who to trust, but she always goes with her gut. You can tell who the bad guys are by the description. As Nancy returned to the desk, a woman hurried into the reception room. She was a coarse-looking person, wearing too much makeup and a strong, pungent perfume. She was dressed in a flowered red and green dress, and a red hat was perched on her disheveled reddish curls. Fake accents, aliases, and red herrings abound, and there are 9 suspects to keep track of. Ned's particularly suspicious of Rene Guyon, who really obnoxiously flirts with Nancy right in front of him. Soon after, Ned tries to stake his claim. "I don't trust that guy," Ned replied. "But what was the idea of giving him an impression like that?" "Impression like what?" Ned asked in some surprise. "Anyone who heard you would think we're husband and wife, especially a man like Rene." Ned laughed heartily. "Well, someday I hope it'll be true. And for your information, I hope he'll think we're married now." All of these suspects make for an overly complicated story, culminating in by far the most frustrating climax to date, when the usually observant Nancy takes a full 8 pages to figure out that the house that she's in is on fire. Some clothes and food to mention. Nancy's in a navy blue suit, and Bess and George are in gay cotton skirts and blouses at the airport. Nancy wears a dainty blue blouse while sitting for a portrait painting, and a pink sports dress on a date with Ned. The strangest meal so far, Nancy makes a supper from the canned goods that she finds at the criminal's hideout. Next up, the witch tree symbol.